Right. Um, oh my goodness. I feel very honored, This I don't take it for granted. I interview people all the time, but I notice that when we do it in the church is a different thing because many people carry a lot of burden in terms of questions and they feel like they're the only ones. There's this feeling like it's only me that is happening to other people cannot feel my pain or understand my experiences. And in the space of shining, one of the questions that we had taken before coming here today is about the fact that someone being a full-time housewife, like you are in that space where you feel like everywhere you turn to, people always talk about the fact that, oh, you must have a life outside your family, you must be doing business, you must have something. Entrepreneurship has been so glamorized, and there is a woman out there now looking and thinking, the only thing I'm doing right now is being a wife and a mother. How can I shine within that context? And I would like Pastor Nike to lead the answer to that question. Yes.
How do you shine your light not doing any business? Well, you start from where you are. You're a mom, you're a wife, start from there. If at the moment that's all you see or desire, start from there. I would say don't be intimidated. I was going to let her chip in her own. Don't be intimidated, but have a plan, have a goal. Is that all you want to be in life or in this moment? That's what you are. Because we always talk about our long-term goals, immediate goals, long-term goals. That may be your immediate assignment, but do you have dreams beyond that? And if you do, then you're on course. Don't lose sight. If you said to yourself, okay, I'm going to be an amazing mother, I'm going to raise amazing children who will shine their light, who will make impact in the world, because having children is not for having children's sake. Hello? Now you're making me go in different areas now. It's not because we have to go back to the why do you want children. You wanted children, God gave you, or you now had children at the time you had them. There must be a why to it. Why do you want a girl? So I can put, because you see fine girls, so you say, oh, my ovaries. Now you have got. I just want a girl because how will you not have a girl to put a ribbon on her head? That's too shallow. If that's your vision, why you want a girl or why you want a child, because they look cute. You soon realize that it's beyond cuteness. You're talking about raising a whole human being. So you will now realize, if you didn't realize before, that you have to be in partnership with God over this project called this child. Your child has a name. That child is a project. It's more than a project. That child is more than a business. So I don't want to make light the raising of children. I don't want to make light, and so we don't just say just housewife or just wife, or even being called to stand by a man, to be helper, to be helpmeet. The only other person they use helpmeet for is the Holy Spirit. So in all humility, we are like next to the Holy Spirit. It's a heavy assignment, and we do not make light of it. She's in partnership in business with her husband, Falcon Oil Corporation. It's a corporation, it's a conglomerate. And there's also double impact. Is a ministry that tends to those who are couples who are in business together or who are in ministry together. I'm in that space as well. So I'm just saying that being a wife is not also a small assignment. It may not be a money-paying job, as well as being a mother is not money-paying. So in that season, if you need money, if you need finances, you might want to do something extra, but you must have your own plan, you must have your own journey, and you must know why you are raising this child. If you are not happy, if you are very sad and miserable, being a full-time mother and wife, then I think you should begin to do the other things that will give you joy while not losing sight on the fact that you are raising children. Pace yourself. Have a plan and be on that plan. Don't look at what else someone is doing. Don't say life has gone ahead. I don't want to take much of our time, but yesterday I was in a city called Shagamu for 2 days, bidding my uncle, who was almost 100 years old, farewell. And one of his grandsons said to me and his wife, they were living in Nigeria before they live in Canada now, and they came with their 6 months old, their 4-year-old daughter and their 6-month-old son. And he read architecture. So he was like, Auntie, I don't know how you do it though. Both of them were like, it's hard. I don't know how you know. And before they finished talking, I said, I know. I said to even the husband, the man, he's the grandson. I said, you feel like your architecture has not been the way it should be. He said, yes. I said, and even you too, girl. You're a photographer. You're doing well. I see your pictures, online and all that. But you feel like life is passing you. But she said, yes. I'm done. I'm so done. I just smiled. I said, anyway, I'm here for you. This is very important. I pointed to the daughter. I said, very important. But of course, keep rolling. You have each other, thank God. And because you have each other, you support each other. The guy, I mentioned his name. If she needs groceries, you go for the groceries. If she needs me time, you say, she said, that's how we've been doing. I said, keep rolling. Keep rolling. He said, it's so hard. I said, if you were in Nigeria, you have a lot of hands. You would have people to help you, paid and unpaid. But out there alone is tough, I know. But keep at it because you have both of you. I try to let them see that even both of them together is powerful. They're young, they love each other, but it's hard to raise it. I said, in a matter of time, it will be gone. So it shows that they had their eyes on their career, but they felt they were losing time. All are important. Each has his own track. So keep doing it. Enjoy motherhood. Enjoy the wifehood. And if you want to make misses by the side, start something by the side with wisdom. You can't lack. At least there's a time they are sleeping. There's a time they are off to daycare or whatever. You can still do the other things you want to do in the line of entrepreneurship. You don't have to wait. You may not be able to do it full blast, but you can begin in a small way. I think I've said more than enough. But I want her to chip in.
Yes, but I know you will chip in, but I have a question that I feel will be directed towards you. He said there's this thing called women supporting women. But I feel like a lot of, most women envy each other, especially when one party is at the center stage shining. Said, like when you hear stories that a woman is trying to bring you down. So the question is now about, and because I know that you are in a place where you are shining and you have a community of women. I see you with the end game. There are two other women with you on that project. And how do you balance the fact that you seem to be in the light? And how do you raise a group of your praying, praising, and playing team that would still cheer you on and not pull you down?
All right, thank you. So let me just quickly add to the first question that was raised. First and foremost, ladies, please embrace your seasons. Be very clear what season you are in and what you are benchmarking against. It's so important. And remember, your race is your race, my race is my race. Mind your business. So if currently you are a housewife, you are a mother, and that is where you are, that's the current where your light is shining. Please shine very brightly there. You may be raising a president, you may be raising a shaper of destiny, not even me, you are definitely raising a shaper of destinies, several of them. So don't diminish that I'm a wife, I'm a mother. And I want to put that first ahead of you, but check your seasons. The second thing, though, is now a warning that you can't stay in that season forever. The world has changed. It's not my prophecy over anybody, but things happen. Yes. Bobo decides he's not marrying again. Or maybe you. Death comes. Sometimes incapacitation, where something happens, the man can't even work, much less earn. And then suddenly your standard of living drops. So there is a place, I believe that help, part of the help is that the woman too is empowered. I believe that. Because you never know where life will go. And even if your own is 100K a month you bring and he's bringing 1 million, it's fine. We're not competing, we're helping. Because tomorrow, it may be your 100 has become 1 million and his has gone to 0. We cover them and we help. That's the mandate. Secondly, technology has changed the way we live. What that means, because I heard the question, this person was maybe talking a bit about money, but it sounds to me more like impact. That's what I'm hearing or choosing to hear. You know, my name is the Impactoneer, so that's all I ever hear. And so, if what you're thinking or asking is, how can I shine my light? Technology is there. Some of us blogged. We have people like, let me not mention names, but there are some popular blogs that are now people's go-tos to find solutions. Maybe your own is even blogging about how to keep a home, how to raise children in the what century are we in? You know what I'm saying? It could be that, and you'll be surprised that some of the things you have struggled with become a message to someone else. So when we are saying light shine, let me remind you, it's not about I'm on stage with a mic. It's that my essence is overflowing out of my own particular context onto someone else. Okay? Please, so I will say that. Look at technology, volunteer things. You can host fellowship in your home. That's light shining. Yeah. You can be that person who, after school, all the mothers come to your house. And so they have somewhere, or the children, so people don't have to be worrying about they haven't picked Kemi from school. Kemi is inside Audrey's house. And while she's there, you are sure that the only thing she's hearing is word, not nonsense. That's one. Or let me leave it at that, please. Just to say, perspective is key. Now, you talked about the issue of women supporting women. Hallelujah. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, I'm smiling because my sister and I were having this conversation. If you are around me, you will know that I don't accept that narrative. I don't. I don't, ladies. Let me tell you, ask your cameramen, ask your tech people. Guys, do you get along with everybody? No. Guys, do you support every man? No. In fact, men are so competitive. If you are married, this has happened to you. It has happened to you on your way to somewhere. The guy in the next car, your husband doesn't know him, you don't know him, they start to compete. In fact, at some point, I'm telling you, you are going right, your husband continues straight, just so he can. They are very competitive, but here's the difference. They don't go around talking about men don't support each other. The same person telling me that when you can see someone you know running you down, when you are probably sitting beside your besto. You are probably sitting beside your besto who has been through thick and thin with you. You have probably leveraged on a mother, a big sister, a cousin, a grandma who has been through thick and thin for you to even have the life you have now. So I say this. I am not saying there are no women who don't do those things. But first and foremost, please make sure you are not one of them. Don't be telling me about what women do. Who are you? Be the woman who is not that woman you talk about. Let's start from there. Let's deal with ourselves. Secondly, how many women you know, Seth? Excuse me. We are almost 8 billion in the world. They say 50% are. If you've listened to me, you've heard this analysis before. 50. Let's come to Lagos. How many days there we are? 18, 19 million, maybe 30, who knows? So that's 9 million women in Lagos. How many do you know? Now, let's even say you know 2,000. 2,000 over 9 million, what's that percentage? And out of that, inside there is your mother, your sisters, your best friends. When you remove those ones, how many are remaining? Work the maths. 0.00000. Yes. And then you open your mouth, you, a woman, and you say women don't support women. Stop it. Yes.
Thank you, ma'am.
Please. Yeah. I'm sorry, I must land this. Because I have had the privilege, when I talk about your play, praise, and pray crew, I've had the privilege of a God connection. I remember that we sat down and we said something. We said to ourselves, it's not that we will not quarrel. Come on, you quarrel with yourself, don't you? But that we will honor each other. And what that means is that if I talk to Bidemi about Enife, when Enife comes, Bidemi, please tell her very quickly. And I'll be looking at you, she'll be saying, see what's said. Because I probably told you, we said we will not talk about ourselves. And if we do, it must be in a way that if it's said in the open, we are fine with it. We are all strong, powerful women. It is in the place of this connect that we've written books, we've built businesses, we've raised children, we've done so many things. It's not seamless. But there is a commitment that my sister and I are going to be pillars for each other. And that happens when each of us comes to the table as that woman who is the example of the woman she wants to be. Ladies, the onus is on you. Don't worry about the people who do this and do that. You always be to the next person, the next woman, the woman you want her to be able to say. So that when somebody says, women don't support women, somebody will say, no, please, my madam in the office is not like that. So. Be that woman. And I promise you, this thing will filter away. Don't give your daughters the lenses through which every woman that comes near them, they'll be doing like this. And men love it because it reduces all women to, how women are. So they'll be helping you to tell you, this thing women do. And you too, you'll be saying, yes, so. When you finish saying the yes, so, you've forgotten that when you live there, you are going to meet your crew that are championing every move you make. Yeah. Ladies, stop saying it. It may be true, but it is not all of us. Don't paint us all with the same brush.
Thank you so much. That was beautiful. So the next question, I'll take it to Pastor Nike. He said, what should I do after hearing God clearly about something? I run with it and I don't succeed. It feels like I struggle in my calling. I'd like you to help us answer that.
Thank you. That seems general though, but I can, relate. You heard God, you stepped out. I would say it's not the end. How do you know that you're not a success or you didn't succeed in it in the way you think you didn't succeed in it? So continue to serve Him. Continue to, maybe ask questions and look out for a key or a sign. Life is not always a straight line. We always think it should be. He has said this about your destination. You are here. You step out, and it doesn't look like the end that He shows you. Then it means it's not the end yet. It means you're still on the journey, and it's still part of the story. But it's vague because the person didn't give specifics. God cannot lie. And I don't want you to doubt yourself and start saying, didn't I hear God? Or not. Leave it. You stepped out, you tried to act on it, you tried to obey. Maybe the time was not right because there's, like she said, seasons. Maybe the timing was not right. But don't have a low self-esteem because of that. And next time you hear God say something to you, you're like, that's how I did it, and he embarrassed me. No, just still be obedient, still have that posture of hearing Him, ready to obey. At least Jonah heard God, but God did not destroy the people of Nineveh at the end of the day, and He was angry because it looked like He was the one that was disgraced. I think you must also have that love for God and to know that He might even just be testing you. He might just be testing you. So it's not a matter of it looked like it failed, but the fact is you did your own part. Sometimes I tell God, me, I've done my part. It's left to you. Don't be ashamed on God's behalf, Don't think about what people will think. Or you stepped out, said God said you should start that thing, and obviously it didn't look like it. You say, well, sorry, at least I tried. What if it was just a test of faith? I think we should be more interested in our journey with God, in our relationship with God, as compared to the result, the obvious result. So people will see it and say, hey, powerful woman of God. She heard God, she obeyed. Look at the result now. It's in the journey and it's in the obedience.
Thank you so much, Ma.
Thank you.
So I have another question for you, Ma, and it's about business. Someone says, how do you deal with someone who introduced you to a business, then stole your customers when you had financial challenges? So this was very specific, but we could take the answer generally with business partner deception. You know, you do a deal with someone and the person deceives you or just makes away.
Yeah. So I try to avoid responding to what I don't have full context about. But I will say this, and that's where I'm talking about the principles. A lot of the times when we're doing business, especially when we're younger, smaller business people, I hear things like, oh, she's my friend. We've known each other for a long time. Money is a test of friendship. Oh. I'm telling you. So business principles have nothing to do with friendship. They are principles and you must apply them. If you're going into a partnership, did you spell out before you started the business, this is how it will be? This is what I'm bringing. This is what you are bringing. Therefore, these are the terms of this partnership. This is how we will share profit. Even a conversation around sharing profit will reveal different aspects of your friend's nature you didn't know they had. It will also show you things about yourself that you didn't realize were in you. But when you transact like that, you begin to have conversations around, okay, customers. Who is bringing the customers? And who is the interface with the customers? Some of us do some funny things like, so I'm the MD, you will be the face of the company. Then it is your personal phone that is the company business number. So everybody coming to contact the company is reaching out to you. I'm sure somebody in this room can testify that they've done this. And what are the things? Is this thing about dimming lights? So, no, I don't know how to talk to people. So, you are, we actually, it makes sense that I will just, you connect you. And then when that happens, you've ceded power. You ceded power. Now, you didn't also make room within your agreements, partnership agreements, for when there's a disagreement, what should happen? Because we don't want to talk about if things go wrong. And I hear people say, business that is not even making money, we'll now be discussing. That is when to discuss it because there's nothing to lose. So what tends to happen? And then the question about the value system. When you want to go into business with a friend, honestly, most of the time, if you have known this person well, there is something about them that will be tweaking you like, maybe not. You will know their values. You shouldn't be surprised if they did something like that. Because they would have sent you signals. There would have been things they did to other people and you would have been like, you, Sha. That you, Sha, is now back on you. Yeah. So please, before you go into the partnership, there are so many free online partnership templates. Sit down. It doesn't matter that there is nothing. It doesn't matter that it's a small company. Say, let's have the conversation. Because if we are serving the God me and you say we are serving, the second contract we get might open the door to the multi-million one. God is able to do it now. We just take you from here. The next thing you're like, I don't know how it happened. So those conversations may be happening faster than you imagine. Let's take time. Now, if this person has already done this, what are your recovery strategies? I can't answer without information. Because I need to understand what kind of business is it? What kind of clients? Is it individual clients? Is it business to business? If it's business to business, there's a way. If it's individuals, there's another way. How did the separation happen? How did the person take your clients? It's not easy to answer. But you have to walk back. Maybe you have to walk back from this experience and say, what did I do wrong? They say it's only a child that falls down and doesn't stop to say what tripped me. Yeah? So I hope this helps the person. I wish I could have a one-on-one with you. Right? But if you check it, you will see that you assume too many things in the process. And those assumptions are the things that destroy early stage businesses.
Thank you so much, man. You want to?
I just want to add this. While we don't have the full details, but I just want to speak into the healing of your heart. Obviously, your heart is broken. And she said something that look inwards and see where you went wrong. Whether it was even in the choice of business partner in the first place. Maybe that friend is good for, let's go have lunch. You know who is, she said that when she was preaching earlier on, you know who is good for what. You may have taken that fun, play date kind of friend that you feel good around, as a business partner. Sometimes your business partner might have to be that one that doesn't like to play, but likes money. You compartmentalize, but it's happened. How do you move on from here? So I would say, let God heal your heart. You will see lapses. Then don't stay in that guilt and blame yourself too much. Get up, look at perspective. Thank God you're alive. The business died, but you didn't die. God will give you another one. He might give you another business partner. He may say, go solo for now. He will recover you. You have to recover your heart. If not, you will stew in bitterness and resentment. And when he brings a good person your way, you'll be very suspicious. You have walls. It could morph into so many things. Depression. Because Satan, he always wants to take advantage. Small road like this. Next thing, you're saying depression because of what? You say you don't know what happened. Maybe the other person that told your client has moved on. Let your light shine. Heal yourself. Let the Holy Spirit heal you. And rise again. Get up again. That I can say. And that goes for anything that's happened to you. Down to marriage partnership that has failed, divorce, and is applicable to all of that. Let the Lord heal your soul and let him start afresh with you. Learning lessons, better boundaries without becoming bitter and hard.
Okay, I have to just put this in because I discovered a few things just in the past 2 weeks. And I think that if you're running a business, you need to have a business coach. We don't prioritize it. There are things you don't know. I did a program at LBS and I realized that I was using church mind. They were church people in Daystar and I've given them contracts and they sent me drawing and there was no dimension to the drawing. And I did not know, and they have done the job. And I did not even know whether they did it right or did it wrong. Because the original document wasn't previewed by a professional, and I did not have the competence to do it. So sometimes you're in a business partnership, but you are not the competent person there, and you're thinking you've been cheated, but it was because right from the get-go, you did not have the capacity to handle that transaction. So you are busy feeling guilty or placing blame on somebody else for what you did not do in the first place. So getting a business coach, speaking to professionals in the field that have gone through your field, it will help you avoid some mistakes and help you prevent new mistakes from taking place. Thank you.
I was going to say, before you even began to say anything, I was going to say that don't go to your pastor for everything. Not all pastors are coaches. Some pastors are strong in prophetic. They'll give you a word. That's if a word comes to them. They'll pray with you. But please don't try to squeeze out of your pastor, your spiritual leader. Everything. We don't want to pay money for things we should pay money for. We now turn pastor into everything. And as you said, church mind. Have a business coach. If you need a relationship coach, she's a coach as well for women also 40 and above. And yeah. So that's it. People call me a life coach as well. Yes, life. Generally, I coach women who are in ministry and women leaders as well. Know what, if you love your business enough and you want it to succeed, then get a business coach. Okay? And if your pastor is a business coach, then hire him as a business coach, not because he's... Let me not go there. I'm just trying to say we are opening up cans of worms that we have to be willing to sacrifice and pay more for the success in the area that we need. If your marriage situation is so difficult, it's gone beyond, okay, pastor has prayed for us, let your pastor, whoever, suggest to you someone who is an expert in marital counseling. Some who have trained for it, and on top of it, they're still Christians. And they're willing to give you all that time, the 2 hours, the 3 hours, the 5 hours, to do that. I think that's the way going forward now. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So we have this question. Please note that our online audience who are taking questions are being sent to me from the online platforms as well. So if you're on Instagram, you're on Facebook or YouTube, put in your question right in the comments box and somebody would copy it and send it to me and I can ask your question here. On YouTube and Facebook, we're taking comments from YouTube and Facebook and you can the question can come here live. So please keep the questions coming. This is a very heavy question. Somebody said, I was raped and found out I'm 2 months pregnant. What do I do with it? I'm too ashamed to carry it. And how does this person handle the situation?
She's waiting for me to...
I was going to say,
It's a heavy
Yes,
one.
it's very heavy. I wonder if that person would be willing to see us after this. Yes, please.
For starters, I have the Real Woman Foundation. That's an organization, if you know about, go online, find out. You see the handle there. Call somebody, you can get help from there. Wait behind, yes, see any of us, because she said you can wait to see her or me, or we will still direct you to where you will get one-on-one help. We don't know you, this is a random question. So we can't just give you a general whatever, but you need to talk to someone, you need to confide in someone. There are questions that need to be asked. What's your relationship with your mother like, or with your father? Because we will first look at who in your family is going to take you in. Do you live on your own, or do you even live with them? And you are too afraid to tell them, but you know soon it will start showing. So you need one-on-one counseling. We have to look at your situation first. And if you say you live with your parents, after a while it will start showing. So what's your relationship with them like? Can you tell them on your own, or do you need that your favorite aunt to go with you to go tell them? These are all strategies, and just, apart from prayer and support. But I want you to know that you can be supported. And thank you for speaking out first. But we have to put a name to the face and see how we can support you one-on-one, or link you with, where you will get support from. All right? It's not the end of the world. It's not the end of you.
Okay, so I just want to say to this young lady, I am so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. And the reason I say that is because there are many women who have been raped and they didn't speak up. There are many who got pregnant. They just did what they felt they needed to do, and they didn't speak up. They've bottled a very unfair situation. The problem is that it always bubbles out somewhere else. So thank you for speaking up. Please don't stay silent. We're here, and the help will be available. But I just wanted to say first, I'm so proud of you. Thank you for not letting the enemy you've taken the first step, the very first step.
All right. So definitely, whoever sent in the question, please don't forget to reach out to Real Women Foundation, as well as coming to behind where the pastor sits, so that someone can talk to you. Yeah. Okay. There's a question here. Someone is saying, my challenge is I feel empty. I can't figure out my purpose. I've prayed. I still don't get it. What would be the first step towards entrepreneurship or peoplepreneurship? Audrey. Yes.
Yeah, I love that word, peoplepreneurship. I'm going to steal that officially. Yes, I've said it in public, so I'm fine. So the thing with entrepreneurship is you have the passion to obviously do business, is what this person, and I hope that's your call, actually. But you have to always start with an idea. And the problem is that many times we say we can't think of the idea because we are usually looking at what other people are doing. Entrepreneurship comes from the place of finding problems and seeing how you can solve them. And entrepreneurship happens, sometimes it's not that is unique. It could just be that you see a different perspective to how something that already exists is being done. And you have to be able to sit down and process it. The starting point is really I would always, we've talked about coaching. A lot of people don't want, because, the way we talk about mentor now is what is happening with coach. That has become such a word we just throw out there that the value is now being undermined. If you had someone you can sit down with and literally process so many things, part of finding what you are called to do is even looking at your journey and then finding out what are the things that interest you, what is the thing that troubles you the most, and if you could solve it, what would you do? Right? Those are some of the things that open the ideas, your door to ideas. And you must be able to go to that process. Somebody sent me a DM on Instagram once, and she said, somebody from Ghana, that please, can you give me an idea of a business I can do here in Ghana? And I thought to myself, that's it. So that doesn't make any sense. You in Ghana should have figured out, even on your street, there's a problem. And what can I do about it, right? So you have to go back into yourself. Now, that said, we've talked about looking at, getting someone who is already in business. You have to start attending seminars, workshops, listen to business people. YouTube is unbelievable as a resource. Before you now talk of the Udemys and the rest, go and start finding those kind of things. If you're interested in social affairs, you can do a social impact thing. There's so much you can do, but if you start following them, something will trigger in your head. My core business is gas. Let me tell you very quickly how we stumbled on that. It was in the course of another project entirely, and some of you may have heard me say this before, that as we're coming back every night, we get to one place, a fire is burning. Every single night, this fire never went out, week after week. And we just kept discussing that, I can imagine the people living around here, all the smoke, what kind of wahala is this? What are they even burning there? And then one day, somebody in the bus just said, it's a gas flare. And our ears went up like, gas flare. Never heard about that before. What is that? So ask questions. Questions are the currency of the future. And quite frankly, the currency of today. Ask questions about things you see around you. That is how we started to investigate, okay, gas. Now you hear there's a gas seminar, we will go. We hear there's a gas this, we will go. We started looking for things on gas. And then finally you see that, in some other countries, they're using it to do this and do that. Saying, why are we not doing it in Nigeria? What does it even take to make that happen? Long story short, this is 28 years later. Gas is the core of my business. So sometimes God is even showing you something around you, right? You just keep talking about it and you're not processing that maybe this is the thing I'm supposed to solve. Secondly, and that's the last thing I'll say, be careful that you're not looking at big things. Sometimes the business you're being called to do is a commodity thing that the volume can be amplified. Dangote makes money from commodities. That's his model. What is that thing I can pack that 3 million people will buy every day? So sometimes you are not seeing your idea because you feel it must be one big thing. And God has been showing you since that if it's a wedu, if it's obono, that he keeps showing you where it's growing like wildfire. A friend told me recently that her husband, apparently they have a lot of moringa in their compound, and the man just kept complaining about, what is the whole place? What is this? Then he went abroad and went to some shop, and an entire row of shelves, moringa tea, moringa this, moringa hair cream. He said he called his wife and said, wait, is it the same moringa inside our compound? So, yeah.
Thank you so much, Ma. There's a question that has to do with, she's asking how can she shine when her partner doesn't support her? How does she deal with a spouse that will not let her light shine and is a serial cheat, has a child out of wedlock, is not remorseful? There are a list of repeated infidelity.
It's a question for me.
Yes, ma.
So cheaping. See, both of us just sighed. It's that question that you just hope that before the Q&A is over, you don't get that kind. But many times it shows up in women's meetings because life happens. Like you said when we were talking earlier, that we all deal with stuff. So your stuff is different from the stuff I'm dealing with at time. First of all, just want to say so sorry about that because that's not pretty at all. It's heartbreaking, especially since it happens repeatedly, or it has happened repeatedly. That could affect your esteem. How do you let your light shine? Because that is really, that is numbing. That is painful. I think this person will need one-on-one counseling. Yes. It's not something I can just... We need more information, even though this is a lot of information already. But I'm not going to say what's coming to my mind.
Not on the pulpit.
This person needs to go for counseling. Have you both gone for counseling? Is he willing to get help? Is he okay? You said he's not remorseful. He's not remorseful. Okay. So if he has resisted counseling, because he needs counseling. He needs help. And you both need help. Because you both need help because it's not pretty. So somebody will think, why is she still there?
We do have a thriving
Why is she still there?
counseling team in church, and many people don't take advantage. There is a counseling team in church. Women of Destiny has a counseling team. Nobody should be going through this kind of thing alone, and because that being alone will make you feel isolated. Like this is. Please reach out to the Women of Destiny. Anybody wearing the purple shirt can give you a phone number. There is a counseling team, someone that can work with you one-on-one, see how to get either the man as well into professional counseling.
Get help. Yeah.
Yes, getting help is extremely...
Let it go beyond you just sent in a question and they didn't fully answer your question, because it's hard to fully answer it. I don't know you. I can't say, oh yeah, pack your things.
There are several questions within that relationship space.
Yes.
And someone else is asking, she just left.
But we're acknowledging that it's bad. Let's call it what it is. It is bad and it could be difficult.
So for those that are asking relationship questions, because we know that what people need is one-on-one, I would advise that I'll take other questions that we can properly deal with now, and I'll ask anyone going through those relationship questions to please reach out to the Women of Destiny platform. If you are watching online, the numbers are already there for you to call, but if you are in the auditorium, just beckon to anyone with a purple outfit that is wearing the purple t-shirt, Women of Destiny, and they will give you a phone number to reach out to. So I wanted to ask this. Yeah.
People to feel heard. Yeah. So if there are many of that type, you can just pack it together, read it out. We may not be able to do justice to it, but I want them to feel heard. You know.
Okay. Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Okay, so I'll give this to...
Let me say something.
Yes, ma'am.
So when this came up, there was a lot of murmuring in the room. And it is because this story is so common, sadly. So this is what we hear all the time. We also hear where it is the women who are now financially responsible for their homes. And it's not even as if on top of that you're carrying the weight. The man is now being loving and caring. He's still cheating and doing all these things. So it's really tough, ma'am. And perhaps, there's definitely room for those one-on-one counselings. But because this is something I say in different places, I'm also going to say it here. We need to engage our men. Yeah. We need to. We're always doing things for our women talking to ourselves, counseling each other, telling ourselves to stay strong. We're always doing that. So I try to, when I have the opportunity to talk to men, I say to them, your sisters and your daughters are bleeding. And we need you to do your own part. So perhaps there is need for a relationship conference, seminar, workshop, whatever, for the men. We can't be the ones suffering and we are still the ones talking to ourselves. Now, for those who are in it too, let me also say something. This is not about your husband being a good man or a bad man. I want us to understand the enemy's strategy for the end times. Where it says, when you strike at the head, what happens? So society is being upturned. Society is being upturned. And what is the God order? Is being transformed the other way around. The enemy is slowly. So the man who is doing this does not see that he's on a pathway to perdition, as we say. He thinks he's doing you. Yes. What he doesn't realize is that he's actually, as we say, doing himself from a spiritual standpoint. And why is that happening? Because the Bible tells us, there's a scripture, it says that the gods of this world blind the eyes of those that believe not. We always think about it from the point of view of conversion, but you can apply it to other things. If he could truly see the things he's doing from God's eyes and its impact on his salvation and his eternity, then he will realize that, It's just that you can't laugh at him on the last day if you see him on the other side. You can't, because God will send you there too. But my point is that, there are blinders on. The things he thinks makes him a man, sleeping with many girls, this one, that one, and treating you anyhow. If he could see properly, if he wasn't blinded, he wouldn't do that. And he would certainly not want it for his daughter. Every man rises up in arms to fight for his daughter and his sisters. But somehow they can't see it through the lens of the wife. You are in see finish mode. Yeah. And too often, you spend too many years trying to play Holy Spirit in his life, so that when he hears your voice, instead of hearing help meet, he hears judgment. I don't blame you. I'm there, I'm a woman too, so we understand these things. We see it. We've counseled people about it. We know sometimes you tell your husband, this carpet is red. You say, how can you say that? Is another person that will come and say, oh, what a beautiful red carpet. You say, yes, oh. Some of those little things, and we laugh, but some of you are dealing with deeper ones. It's not your husband. The kingdom of darkness is pushing. Why am I saying this? Because when we are discussing, we'll have counseling. When we are discussing, have men's conference. Sisters.
Hallelujah. Thank you so much, Ma. Funny enough, I was going to ask you this question as well, but thank you for sharing that at least. How can I stay focused on my gifting without being overwhelmed by the multitude of talents I have? What do I do when my gifting still isn't bringing me visibility, yet I have multiple talents? So, how do we deal with this? You, a very talented person. I have a friend, she tried singing, it did not work. She had like 3 albums. Beautiful voice. She tried acting, it did not work. Now she's selling clothes, so I just feel that, but she's a super multi-talented person. And I'm sure somebody here that is asking this question too is feeling like, what's going on? I have too many talents and it's not working. What should? I wanted to ask.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Now, there are a lot of people who are like that. In fact, some people are so good at everything, their problem is, which one should I even do? And if you are in that place, honestly, take a piece of paper, write everything down, and try and rank them. My friend puts it this way. She says to me, Audrey, which of these things that you do, if I woke you up at night and said this is the only thing you can do for the rest of your life, which one will you pick? So challenge yourself like that. You can even say which of the 2 or which of the 3, because you must not be limited to one. But you can't do everything. And, I talked about seasons. These things are in phases. Some of these things evolve. I do a lot of things, but I always tell people that if you pay attention to what I'm doing, everything involves words. That's my core. If I'm writing, I'm writing. If I'm ministering, it's words. If I'm whatever, it's all about words. So I'm not really going away from what I do. The things I do out there, I'm talking about things that, I said it then, don't go outside of yourself. I talk about business. I talk about couples in business. I talk about women empowerment. So there are still the things in my journey, but they are now expressing themselves. And you notice the expressions are happening one after the other. If you decide what you want to do is to sing in your list of the many things you can do, please take another sheet of paper, write sing at the top, and ask yourself the question, how can I become the best I can be here? What help do I need? What resources do I need? Just create a plan. I believe so much in going through life planning exercises and building what we call our GPS. So you actually kind of articulate your bullet points, different tasks you're going to do that feed into this, and you set timelines. And when I do that, I'll print it and put it where I'll be seeing it all the time. So you have to be that intentional about at least one thing. So like her music, for instance, why did she fail? A lot of people are singing. They may not be the big names, but they have continued. Right? So she, for instance, if you wake her up, that's the same thing she would want. She has to go back and now say, in the context of 2023, how does the music industry work? What am I bringing? Is it Afro, gospel? Do I have a unique sound? What is it called? You process all those things. They begin to ask, okay, what do I need? I need a studio. Obviously, you're not going to buy a studio. But there are studios everywhere you rent. Or is there something, I can tell you this for free, I learned this one through my production crew, that sitting in my house with a microphone, I'll just put pillows on the floor around me so that sound can bounce off. I have a studio. Oh, yeah. I have a studio. Now you know. Do you understand? So it may not even be that you need. So you begin to look at what are the quick ease. And there are a lot of, I said YouTube is your friend.
Yeah.
Free teachings on how to produce your own album, how to market you go and do the deep dive work. And then, of course, it means you're looking at your networks, your collaborate. You have to stay in that space for consistency, for visibility, and all that. And then, of course, like I said, why do you even want to sing? You want to use the voice for God, right? That means you must be able to volunteer that voice as a gift everywhere else that is not because they're giving you money and stuff like that. So begin to volunteer your gift on that thing. And one day, just a door opens. Yeah? So, but don't try to do everything. It doesn't work. It really doesn't.
Pastor Nike, let me ask you this question. Someone says she started a software company. A lot of proposals were rejected. They are owing a lot of money in terms of the capital that they used to pay the employees that threatened them, and she's wondering how to start again. That's one. But there's another question that came from Facebook that I feel you should deal with first. It says, how can I shine my light in an organization that is toxic? And I would want that to be beyond just a company, but you find a person that finds him or herself in an environment that does not encourage or support, but yet you want to shine your light in that place. How can they go about it?
Well, you start by understanding who you are first. Understand who you are. Of course, that you are light. You're not going to let anything dim your light. You ask God for wisdom. Bible says, being as wise as serpent, harmless as doves, wisdom to navigate the place. As long as you know you are not meant to leave that place. If you're still meant to be there, because one, it may be that you're not supposed to be there, that you're in the wrong place. But if you have a certain that you are meant to be in that organization, and then how many will you run from? You ask God for wisdom. You ask God for wisdom. You don't have to go so low. If they go so low and they are toxic, maybe they don't greet you, people who are in the same department, or your boss is not being supportive, you also don't have to pay them back in that coin. Because they say two wrongs don't make it right. And if you are light indeed, and you understand you are light, then you are the bigger person as a child of God, understanding your calling, understanding that you shine in the midst of darkness. Because he didn't say, you find yourself in the midst of dark places. You find yourself working with a difficult boss, someone who doesn't know God. So you who claim to know God, who claim to be a child of God, full of love, that love will be tested. So you ask God for strength. You pray for them. You commit them into God's. In fact, you take charge of that organization. Why should you leave if you were not told to leave? You take charge in the spirit realm. You may not be the owner. You are not the owner. You are not the boss. Maybe you are middle manager or lower. You take charge. You take the place as your assignment. So when you wake up in the morning, don't just go to work anyhow. You pray. You cover the whole place. He says, wheresoever the soles of your feet have trodden upon, he's giving them to you for your inheritance. So ask. Look, if we want to shine, we have to ask to come across problems. She has said it earlier that to really shine or thrive in entrepreneurship or in any area, you must be given to problem solving. The question then is that, what problem do I want to solve? They stumbled on the gas problem. And they decided to dig further. And today they are solving it and have risen to the top. So I think we were never promised life would be easy and soft. I know we all want the soft life. I see there, coins, soft life, queen of soft. Where did that come from? Nobody is praying hardship for you. But the reality is, as good soldiers of Christ, the Bible says you must endure hardship. Bible says, I will increase your greatness and comfort you on every side. Why will you need comfort on every side? Because as your greatness increases, there are dragons waiting to drag you down. There is envy lurking. There is this, that. You now be saying, hey, God, and I ask to be wealthy, and I ask to be... Because these things come, they say it comes with the territory. So let's be frank. Jesus said, in this world you will have tribulation. And he didn't say where the tribulation will come from. He didn't say where it will come from. He just said you will have tribulation. That means trials. It can come in various ways. He said, but be of what? Good cheer. Because I have overcome. So if the one that has overcome is on your inside, first of all, you set your perspective. And that's why I said when I was speaking that joy, that being happy, that intentional, I will see, Satan, I will wear you out before you wear me out. Jesus said, be of good cheer. So I will be cheerful. Right?
Yeah.
So let's settle it. Let's seek. Look, I know, sis, you don't want to mince words. You want us to be real. There is stress and there is trouble. So the reasons we're having this Q&A and the conferences and everything is, how do we navigate? How do we shine the light in the midst of darkness? We already said we are in darkness, right? So this is a form of darkness. Toxic work environment is a form of darkness. But it says light shines in the dark. So stay there if you are not to leave. If you leave and you go, there will be another kind of darkness in another. So it's about, Lord, how do I solve this? Strengthen me. I remember Paul, he prayed 3 times. There was a thorn in his flesh, but the Bible didn't tell us what kind of thorn it was. I think so that we can slot our thorn there. We can replace it. So when say Paul's own was light, you don't know my own. He said 3 times I prayed and God said, my grace is sufficient for me. So after a while I said, okay, I would rather glory in my infirmities. I will rejoice in the problems. So the power of God will rest upon me. Sometimes that's the perspective we have to take. I am going to this office. People, you will be friendly. You will be kind. I am light. And if you get there and they still are not, let them be bitchy. You cannot be bitchy to return them. Why? Because you are not even supposed to have the capacity to. Let light, because it said evil will bow before good and the wicked at the gates of the righteous. At the end of the day, they will agree that you are the bigger person. Though they have the bigger office and portfolio. It might be the day of your sent forth. It may be the day God finally releases you to live. And someone will be saying good, not nice things about you that they never said. Actually, I'm sorry because I knew I showed you. Too late, but it's okay. They will now be. You now find out that your light was shining all the while, but they never told you. So shine in the midst of that darkness. You are going for lunch, invite someone out. You are going to get a agbalumo or puff puff. Don't just get one, get 6. Put it on the table. Anybody cares for some? You take your own, you are eating. Someone may come, someone that's not been talking to before may be like, pass me one. Don't pay them back in their own coin. At the end of the day, they will say, this woman, we know what we've been doing behind, but Kai, she's good. And the day they have a problem, they'll come to you. They'll want you because they've seen that you're tough and still smiling because you are a soldier in that place. Actually, any place we've been sent to work, any industry, any place, see yourself as fronting for God.
Thank you so much, Ma. There are a lot of questions that has already been answered. We're virtually out of time. Someone was asking, how does one navigate through a very painful experience into shining? It's already answered. Someone was also asking, how do I shine as a mom who runs a beauty business and is also called into ministry? How do I balance? She already answered in terms of how setting your priorities, understanding the seasons. Someone else was asking how to manage a spouse whose ego stands in the way of your light. Take it to your knees. They already answered. There are several questions, but it's been answered. But I have a personal, and I cannot be here and I will not ask this personal question. My own question, and it's to you. I know that when trying to shine in an industry, and there's an institution already, I know that at a point in your life as in the gas ministry, in the gas industry, you became the chairperson for the entire industry. How did you, calculating, how did you position yourself to get there? Was it proper calculation? Did you plan ahead, or was it just grace that God just brought it your way? So some of us will just pray or we'll start planning.
All right, thank you. So there are two elements of this. One is spiritual. Actually, everything is spiritual, but let's start from the spiritual. When I attended the meeting for the first time, and I saw what was going on there, the Nigerian Gas Association. I mean, I've been running my business in the gas industry, but I never thought beyond, I'm just trying to make this business work. I never thought about policy, which one concerns me? Government release budgets, what do I know about it? I never thought about those things. Until a conversation that made me realize that, oh, wait a minute, I'm not operating in a silo. And then somebody invited me for the meeting. When I had the exposure to the kinds of high-level conversations and saw how those things there filtered down one day to my business, I left that place. And I remember when I left, I said to my husband, one day I'm going to be the president of the Nigerian Gas Association. I said it. And it was just something I put out there. Then the journey began. And that's where we have to now get into practical. God said faith plus works. The first thing I did was to ask what committees are available. I want to serve. I was put on the programs committee, the people who coordinated the annual publication and events. And I started to work with Engineer Adeyemi then, who was the chairman. Very silly things. You have to review. Somebody has already done the work. You review. Send email to that person. Very basic things. How many people signed up for the event? Talk to Echo Hotel. Make sure it's very silly things that I had an assistant that could do. From programs committee, moved to the next committee. At some point, they asked me to take charge of fundraising committee. That was my biggest fear because I didn't know how to talk to people about anything. But I took it on and we started that. Now, this continued until the next official election. And I thought to myself, wait a minute. They are going to have elections into substantive offices. Why can't I volunteer myself? I've been working for the association anyway. And so I put myself out for publicity secretary. Thank God for frustrating that anyway, because now, let me confess, the only reason I wanted that position was because they used to put adverts in the newspaper and they'll say signed, they'll put the person's name. Yes, so it's good to be honest. So, so God just told me, Mbamba, that's not where we're going. And at the elections, I lost monumentally. Yeah, because now, by the time I got in deeper, I recognized that they needed certain skills at that level. It wasn't just about anybody that wants to come and shine, let your name be known sake. No, you needed depth. So it was a landslide loss. I was so embarrassed, but I had to keep the smile on my face. But I continued to serve. I stayed in my committees. Ultimately, at some point, the president at that time now said, okay, I need ex-officio. Join as an ex-officio. I can see you really want to serve. And even though I was an ex-officio with no specific portfolio, I did not miss a single meeting. I contributed if there was an assignment, I would take it on because I was going somewhere. And I was going somewhere because I knew what the place had the potential to do, not just because I want to be there. I wanted to be part of changing something for the country. Anyway, long story short, it was from ex-officio. Eventually, I was asked to come in as the second vice president, then the first vice president, and then the president. So it was a journey of about 16 years. Yeah. It was so that when you hear that I was the first female president of the Nigerian Gas Association, it didn't come because I showed up on the scene. I had been there doing grind work. And when it was time, literally, when they were looking for the second, because once in the association, once you become, second vice president is an elected role. After 2 years, you immediately become first and then immediately become president. So once you get into second vice president, 6 years, you are sure you are president. But that second vice president role, I was actually sought after. Like they came to me to say, and I was not just the first woman, I was the youngest person to ever have occupied that position. And it was the first time somebody from an indigenous company they themselves grew was occupying that position. But it didn't just happen like that. It happened because I was humble enough, even taking the disgrace on the way. and still pushing forward and saying, no, I want to do this. So that's how light shines. Just keep at it. You know, I said consistency and commitment, and then it gets you somewhere. Yeah?
So many lessons there, and I'm glad she shared that. Sorry, I just want to chip that in, because inside it you saw something like failure. But as an event, no one is a failure. But there was an event, and she told you that I was so embarrassed. Because someone may say, oh, if I put myself out there now, that's what I fear. You know, it's still not wrong that she put herself out there. It's still part of her journey. Everything can't be smooth sailing and straight line. Someone needed to hear that one, that you failed at that level. But then at the end of the day, she didn't even have to be that secretary, whatever, ever again. 16 years it got here. Do we have that patience? And it's not about shining or about being wanting to be seen. But she realized that she had to serve. So tied into what she shared and what I had also said earlier, that serving in the mundane. Someone already has PA and everything. And when you join those committees, it's not your PA you will send to those meetings. You'll be doing things that. So I'm just saying that for everything, are we ready to wait it out long term and still call it shining? It's not when she became the president that she began to shine. She has been shining when nobody saw her. Now we are now seeing her as president, like, I tap grace, goals, tap it, lay hands on me, mama. Join her coaching. Because when you join her coaching, what you have heard now, you will hear it. You've heard all this for free, but maybe in a deeper way, with more time. There is no shortcut to these things. 16 years. I think we want everything overnight, microwave, whatever. It's a journey, friends. And that's why I'm saying that shine at a level. Shine as a cleaner. Shine as the errand person. You know, and then you will still rise to the top. Thank you so much. I celebrate you, my sister.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy I asked that question, because it was really, yes, it was. Yes.
Everybody else, we don't know who they are. They wrote it and sent it in, but
yeah.
It's okay. Always wanting to learn and grow. That's one of the things
I'm really grateful for this, and like we've said over and over again, you need to find a way to connect with people. I heard her at platform, followed her on social media, watched as I scrolled to the years that she has forgotten she posted, and I watched all the videos from the past. Yes, because for me,
you owe me some time then for bringing.
Yes,
because I didn't even know she had fans.
You have. Well, really,
I didn't know you had fans.
I'm a huge fan.
And this is not a member of this. She's not,
but she's shining, and that's
God.
A big deal.
Thank God.
She has an under 40 coaching program that you can join for those of us under 40, and for above 40 she has as well. Pastor Nike also has Breathe. One of the things that we don't, yes, ma, she has Breathe, and sometimes we need retreats. There's nothing like going on that retreat. So if you can, register, check out Pastor Nike's Instagram page or on Twitter, on the link tree, register for Breathe. It's a retreat for high impact women. It's a retreat for high impact women.
Nobody say it's expensive.
No,
yes,
it's not expensive. It's an investment into yourself. Well, yes, and if you love yourself enough to make this investment, make it. There was a time I could not pay the coaching for Mrs. But now I've gathered the money. So I'm just waiting for her to launch under 40. I will register. So it's an investment we make into ourselves. When we finish at any conferences like this, we go outside and we will buy books. What will we do? We will buy books. We will buy the books and read them, and we will see ourselves shining in Jesus' name. Thank you so much.